Hi, y'all. It's Bonnie Rigsby, the Eternal Gypsy and owner of Let Your Soul Breathe. This week we are having a blog to discuss Reiki. So I want to start off to kind of continue from last week. We talked about chakras and how all the traumatic events in our life and emotions and just things that we experience in this lifetime build up in our bodies and our energy systems and the importance of clearing those systems. So what we're doing today is talking about one of the alternative therapies or modalities that are really good for clearing out chakras. It's called Reiki. Reiki has been around for a very long time. It's a Japanese art of healing. It's where divine energy is actually channeled into someone who serves as a vessel to help clear energies for others. So that is what it's about. We're going to kind of discuss little bits, and then what will happen is I will have the full blog up on my website. So I encourage you to go after this to www.letyoursoulbreathe.com, and you'll find my blog page where you can see last week's, future blogs. All those things are going to be on that page. So I encourage you to visit it. Again, I'm going to check my notes when needed because I'm human and we need to stay that way. So let's talk about Reiki first. So let's break it down. Rei, R-E-I, is going to be anything there is, anything we see, we perceive, all that is to come, those types of things. Ki is actually a life force energy, the end of the Reiki. So life force energy can be described in several ways. I think in Chinese culture, it is known as Qi. Indian culture, it's known as prana, but we're talking about Ki. It all is the same thing. It's energy. It's kind of a life force that surrounds everything. You'll notice when your house is real dirty, you sometimes can feel cluttered, and you're thinking and just disturbed by it. And then you clean your house, and all of a sudden, I feel refreshed. Well, that's because you're improving the Ki or Qi in your home. It's very, palpable. You can really feel it when you move that energy. And again, it's all about energy. Refer back to the chakras blog for a little bit more on that. So Reiki was actually founded in 1922. There was a gentleman named Mikao Usui. So he actually was a profound person who studied the Buddhist culture, and he actually went to a Buddhist temple on Mount Karama where he had a 21-day awakening, where he meditated and he realized he can tap into this divine energy from above and use it as a vessel in his body to help others clear their energies, just to improve our life experience. So that's kind of how it got started. I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of what a Reiki practitioner does. It's a lot about the hands. So I've always been one, you can see I talk with my hands. The hands is kind of my vessel for the world. So I'm using that in Reiki. So there are two ways to go. You can do no touch Reiki. You can do touch Reiki. So with no touch, typically the practitioner will hover over your chakra field or your auric field. So you can see about the distance I would be with one of my clients if they prefer the no touch. And this universal life force energy that I've been infused with, we all have the ability to use. You can tap into that and pass that energy on to others to help clear those fields. So we use our hands basically as kind of an antenna is a good way to describe it in my mind, because I've gotten to the point where I can actually feel, like when I do this, I can feel where there might be disturbances, and then I can kind of hover in that area above it, knowing that's an area that I need to clear. So that's the no touch, and a lot of that is used for scanning. Now for touch, it's a very light touch. So if I place my hands on my chest here, it's not pushing it, it's not like that. It's very light pressure. It's never considered a massage, so you're not going to see us moving our hands across the skin or kneading. It's nothing like that. It's strictly intentional, deliberate motion. Okay, up and down. If I'm moving to a new area, I may go here, but it's very deliberate and light pressure. So it's just a way to kind of engage, and it's totally a preference. It depends on the person. If they want no touch, if they want light touch, if they want a combination of both. I always ask in advance so we know what folks are comfortable with, because that's the most important part, is that people are comfortable with the style that you're presenting. So what that does is clears out energy. So if you talk about Reiki itself, it literally is a universal divine life force energy. It's something that the Creator, God, has infused in us as a tool to use to help us clear our own energies, because He knows life on earth is challenging, y'all. We're going to accumulate some stuff, and we need something to clear it out. Well, we actually have the abilities to tap into His power ourselves. It's just a matter of tuning into the right frequency. And in the Reiki world, there's a Reiki master teacher who actually, if you study Reiki and you go for training to get certified, they actually infuse or activate. It's kind of like a light switch. They call it attunement, but it's like flipping a light switch within your energy system that activates what you already have, what He has already given us. You're activating it. And then once you are attuned by the Reiki master teacher, you're able to pass that energy and healing onto others. So that's what I do. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to tap into things. I know it takes some open-mindedness to kind of say, wow, that sounds a little far-fetched or whatever. I get it. I totally get it. Just for me, just please educate yourself. That's all I ask. Educate yourself. Find out what makes sense for you, but at least take the time to educate. Don't just shut it out. There are a lot of folks out there that think, oh, that's a religious thing, or believe me, I've heard it all. Oh, that's the devil's work. Nobody can heal you except for the man upstairs, and you're evil. You know, there's all kinds of ways to label it. But in my view, the man upstairs is infusing us with this. So it is coming from direct. I'm not claiming to be a healer and healing all. The man upstairs does that. But I do believe that he can channel that energy, and if we can find ways to tap into it, we truly can help. And if you ask my clients and you ask me, who I have done this, it works, y'all. It's something that once you open your mind to it, and you allow yourself to be inspired by newness and new things that maybe you don't understand, but you're willing to educate yourself on, a whole host of beautiful things can open up. So I encourage you, if you want to help manage your stress, Reiki is a wonderful way to do it. Find out all about it on the internet. Hit my website up to get a little more information on Reiki as well. But let's continue for the teaching aspects. There are no side effects with Reiki. It is always for your highest good. It's nothing negative about it. This is all about taking energies that you naturally have and basically smoothing them out. You know, we hold all of these traumatic events that we go through and stressful things. I mean, all of it just piles on, you know, the Wonder Woman, Superman syndrome. We got to clear it out. If we don't clear it out, then there's the perfect opportunity for disease and illness to creep in and take over, because we're not in balance. And it's about balancing the chakras. This works directly with the chakra system that we talked about last week, smoothing them out, clearing out the background noise. And once we clear out the background noise, that's when you can start to tap into some things that you've been missing. And you've been missing them because you're too clogged, you're too cluttered. You need to balance your systems. You need to clear your stuff out. So that's what we want to do. Now, let's see where we want to go here. Okay, let's talk about meridians. Meridians we very directly work with as Reiki practitioners. So meridians are kind of the delivery truck for the energy system. So if you picture with holiday time, all the packages packed on like a UPS truck or something, and they have to be, that's kind of the vessel that takes all of those gifts and delivers them to the right place. So that's kind of what the meridians are to the chakra system, or to the human body, the energy system. It will take signals from our energetic fields and it passes them through our body. We have meridians everywhere. There's a lot of them in the upper body. If you study acupuncture, acupressure, or research those things, that's what they're about. They're about tapping into our natural meridian or energy systems to clear junk. So when you hear meridians, that's what it is. It's kind of like our veins and arteries will pump blood in and out of our heart throughout our extremities. It's the same kind of thing. It's just carrying energy on the meridian, and acupuncture and acupressure will tap into that as well. So Reiki works very much with that, and it helps make sure we clear the energy, so then that clear energy can be sent to the various body systems for use. So something new. All right, so what do you feel when you have Reiki? It's a varied experience. Everyone is different. It just depends on your perception and where you're at and just a host of things. But some of the common things that I've felt all of, let's see, warmth. Warmth is a big one. I did my son, and my son said that it felt like I had a heating pad on his body. He was kind of blown away, like, what is going on, Mom? What's going on with your hands? He could feel the warmth. So some folks can feel that warmth. Twitching. Sometimes if you have an area that has an extra blockage, or maybe something with depth, you may feel your body part. Like if I have a blockage in my hand may all of a sudden twitch. Nothing to fear. It literally is the clearing of that energy center. So just know that that can be possible. A lot of people, or the predominant amount of people, will talk about relaxation and peace and say they slept better than they had in years, and it just chills you out. It literally relaxes you into kind of the Zen zone. So there are some folks that when they are that relaxed can also receive spiritual communications, things that you hadn't experienced before, maybe a spirit guide whispering, whatever happens is meant to be for that person, and approaching them at the level where they are at that moment. So that's possible as well. So we talked about kind of what it is. It's a life force energy, what the practitioner does. Oftentimes they'll close their eyes. They may draw symbols, which is a sacred part of the Japanese culture and process and the art itself. So things like that are just part of that process. We've talked about how it feels. So just a couple more things and we'll say goodbye for today. Now, remember, you can go to my website to double check previous blogs, to read up more about this in a lot more depth than we can talk about on video today. I am also on Facebook. It is Facebook 1111 for my Let Your Soul Breathe page. I'm also on Instagram. I'm known as the Eternal Gypsy, so I believe it's under that, but the business is Let Your Soul Breathe. So check me out there. I'm going to be uploading a new GoFundMe video soon. I know there are a lot of scam artists out there, and unfortunately it's wreaking havoc on the donation industry. I encourage you, please make sure that you do your research before you give to anyone, self included. Research, go to their website, check people out, just make sure that your heart feels comfortable with making this move. So I'm going to have a new video up related to that. Please, if you would like to experience a Reiki session, we're running first-time client specials right now, so it's 30% off the normal price for that, for Reiki, for actually different modalities, but you get 3 modalities. Typically, it's $111. Right now, it's $77.70 for an hour and a half of 3-session modality. So you can choose Reiki as one. You can choose a couple of others. Hit up the website. It'll tell you a little bit more information about that. Really appreciate y'all listening to me today, taking the time to educate yourself and open your mind to something new and different. I truly appreciate your time. Our next blog next Sunday is going to be talking about Mercury retrograde, which I'm sure people have heard. As my cousin Brian calls hoodoo, lovingly, of course. There are just some things that we can kind of learn about, and why not learn about it? Because what if it works, y'all? What if we don't look at it and it works? Come on now. All right, so I'm going to let you go for today. Thank you. Stay tuned next Sunday for Mercury retrograde, and check me out on social media. Thank you again. Love y'all. Peace.